Hello everybody, this is Devo of Devo's Movie Reviews again, and this week's review will be Highlander 2, The Quickening, starring Christopher Lambert as Connor MacLeod of Declan MacLeod, Michael Ironside as Katana, Virginia Madsen as Louise, and of course Sean Connery as Ramirez, featuring in a bit of a bit role as the medical examiner. Jeff Altman, best known as Huey Hogg from Dukes of Hazzard, and John C. McGinley as the leader of the corporate. Either way, he was an underling of Katana, who I kind of thought should have been played by Hiroyuki Tagawa or someone Asian, given that Katana is a name from a samurai sword, which is what Ramirez had, though, of course, Ramirez is a bit whitewashed himself, played by a Egyptian Spaniard, played by Connery in the first one and this one, and of course, Connery was only brought back because Lambert didn't want to do the movie without him, which of course made a confusing take on the Immortals compared to the first one. That of course this one was deemed so bad it's decanonized. I mean, the canon kind of goes from first one, free, series, Endgame, and in their source as well. But we'll get to that in a future video, and I kind of thought the whole thing was campy, though, with the whole, how it goes into a metaphor of global warming, which way does he's been this year. Wouldn't be kind of surprised we're not living under that dome thing or something, or planetary shield. I mean, God, it was like they basically took the whole air shield from Spaceballs and Planet Druidia and tried to make a serious version of Planet Druidia. Or Druidia, that is. That's what I meant to say. Especially with how though at first I kind of thought the whole alien storyline was plausible. How where MacLeod and Ramirez and such were alien babies. Then they just went left field with the whole planet thing. Where in original one it was called Zeist, and kind of reminds me of one scene when, because the whole plot was after whooping the Kurgan's ass in the first movie, MacLeod supposedly lost his powers and became mortal again, until the planet environmental crisis got so bad that, and Brenda, who was the present day love interest in the first movie, died from sunstroke, but in Frey was rewritten to die in a car accident because of course they decanonized this one because of the whole sunstroke thing and metaphor. I mean, which even director Russell Mulcahy did not like it, and I mean he walked out of the first 15 minutes of the premiere because he realized the studio and insurance company had creative control, and over Virginia Madsen only agreed to do this movie to to go to Argentina, and B, to work with, just to do one movie with Sean Connery. Admirable reason, because there was one scene when MacLeod, after getting his powers back, explains And oh, she was about as confused as the audience watching the movie by how the whole powers thing is where he was on a planet where he was mortal on one planet, then killed off all the other mortals on Earth until Katana and those two minions came back. Came back and they had the old fight between Old Man McCloud, where he defeated one. On top of that trolley, then you had that old epic glider versus hoverboard fight when McCloud becomes immortal again, which I kind of thought was one of the high points in the movie because one of the high points is the use of Queen's kind of magic, and of course the fight scenes. I mean, where Ironside did a good job as Katana, though I thought was should have been a better act. Was kind of a little didn't fit the role or something. But hey, they all did it. He himself, they all did this monstrosity for him for the money. And in the case of Sean Connery, and the whole him calling Ramirez back after being once he got his immortal powers back, which that was some funny parts where of how quickly of watching Ramirez quickly adapt to the 21st century. In the movie, it takes place in next year, 2024, but luckily it didn't. That's one movie that didn't predict the future, but it did better take on that Under the Dome series. Because although the whole planet was a dome in Highlander 2 instead of the one town like that Under the Dome in the Simpsons movie. And one hand, I kind of thought the aliens back to the alien storyline. I did think it was plausible at first, but quickly debunked in part 3 and Endgame as like some mutant gene. So you can, in a way, say Immortals are more like X-Men in a way. I mean, a better take would have been like for a sequel should have been like Connor meet his Watcher. I mean, though in the case of where Watchers and Immortals shouldn't have met, but weren't supposed to meet in the series, but hey, they kind of needed a secret society to, every so many years when they have to when they want to get off, well, when the Immortals had to adapt new information every time they want to restart another life after so many years. Once like a lover kind of get mortal lover ages or dies, or every so often. Yeah, they always need a secret society to Watchers to, especially in this day and age of paper money, everything's on a digital now and databases and such. Ain't just like between like the 1500s and the 1800s to the 1800s where somebody could just burn a house, just walk away and just disappear. Now they'd have to be, which is kind of one aspect I kind of want to see in a reboot. Does the new Connor McCloud get a Watcher, or just figures it out? Because that's like because that's an unexplained mystery of that universe. It's about like Demolition Man's free seashells. They never told you about those, did they? And I gotta admit, some good, at least with a old thing with Connery back with some good fight scenes. And I already mentioned like the whole montage of him getting the new suit to where he's far as out when he's interrupting a Hamlet play, and he goes, "Farewell, shithead," and then he pays for a new suit with earring, and then he learns about cars and such. Whereas Katana somehow knew about Wizard of Oz and a bunch of stuff, though never visiting Earth until like that one scene in the hologram, kind of like another thing when they had to rescue McCloud's mortal friend and scientist who helped orchestrate the shield, and they had that old thing in that old Chevy Impala. I mean, it looked cool until they destroyed it, and when they pulled their Leroy Jenkins on it, man. But overall, which led to a hilarious scene with old Jeff Altman as Huey Hogg. Back to the whole thing with the whole wind thing, which looked like the whole rummy the physiologically drinks from Willy Wonka, but instead about the flying and such, they just got locked in that room, and then Ramirez got that heroic sacrifice. For some reason had powers to sacrifice, but yet he couldn't bring him back again, just to break, because they had needed but then again they had to be there could be only one rule. So, but overall, I got to give Highlander 2 about a 2.5. Better yet, 3. Yeah, 3 out of 5. Because just campy. I mean, I do like the dystopian aspect storyline, but great on its own, but compared to the other sequels that are actually canon, there should have been one. But I did like In-Game and Free, but I will be reviewing them in the future. So stay subscribed, and I'll keep dishing them out. All right, y'all, that'll be it for this week.